Previously, we saw how to configure Kerberos related settings, cluster key tab settings. Now we will go through the MoSMB configuration settings in this demo. Before going through MoSMB configuration, for MoSMB cluster we have mounted a mapper file system at /mapper2 location on both our server nodes. So we will be configuring these paths as our MoSMB share and a pstore path. I will go through our MoSMB configuration file, which is etc mosmb.json. Now for HA, we have to enable high availability parameter by setting it to yes. And we configure this pstore path to a common mount location. So we will just create one common location, location mapper2, say demo mhk, and we will provide this path as our pstore path. The auth mode we need to set it to kerberos. We'll set it to krb5. This is our first node in MoSMB cluster, so we'll keep the node ID as 1. For cluster build, we have to use a zookeeper mechanism. And here in the host port section, we will provide the list of all our zookeeper servers which we configured in the previous demos. So we'll give the IP addresses of all our zookeeper servers, colon the port number for the client communication, and we'll give all the zookeeper server configurations comma separated. We configured the zookeeper session timeout to 200 seconds, which is default time. We will rename this share as share HA, and here in the share path we will mention another directory which is under same location /mapper2, but not as same as demo mhk. It will be the share path. So we will create one demo share path and we will provide that as a MoSMB share. Then we set this is cluster property to yes, so that this share is configured as a cluster share. We set this POSIX ACLs to yes. For this, we will not enable the UB based user based enumerations. So this is set to no, and we do not need to change any settings for UB users and UB groups. Now we will have only one share, so I'll be deleting this other share. We'll save this file. We will make all similar configurations on the second MoSMB node. So we'll set the high availability parameter to yes. Change the pstore path to demo mhk. Configure the auth mode to krb5. Now as this is a node 2, we will mention the node ID as 2. mention the mechanism as zookeeper, and we will mention all the zookeeper nodes one after another, comma separated values. Here again we will give the share name as share HA, similar to what we had given on the node 1, share hyphen HA. And we'll mention the same share path, and same as on the node 1. Set is cluster property to yes, and keep all the similar share properties which are configured on node 1. So for cluster to work, we need to set persistence to section properties on all the nodes similar, as well as we need to keep the auth mode as kerberos configuration. Then the vi node section is properties should be similar on all the nodes as well, and the share settings for each share should be similar for all nodes in the MoSMB. Now, as we are going to access in the kerberos authentication mode, we need to set the ownership on the we'll need to set the ownership on the share path, which is demo share, to something other than the root user, which will be domain users, as domain users will be accessing the share. So we'll set it to domain users with chown command. I will be setting it to user pktest1 at uccloud.com, and the group permission will set to domain users. So that when we access the share from the Windows side, I misspelled the name, sorry, do the chown again and check it. Here we can see the demo share properties have been, ownership has been changed to pktest1 and the domain users group. Now we are setting these to domain users so that when we access the share from the client side, we will be able to perform the read-write operations accordingly. I'll start the MoSMB service. MoSMB is not running. We'll just verify if we have the kerberos ticket in place. We'll generate one ticket for the SIFS user. With kinit command. see we have a ticket cache of file type, and at OPT MoSMB ticket location we have our kerberos ticket generated. I will start the MoSMB service. Sudo service MoSMB start. Here we get to see that auth mode is set to kerberos, SSSD is in running state, and we are starting the MoSMB service process. I'll just check the status. You can see that MoSMB is in running state. Configure the log location at var log. Here we see that there is an error in opening configuration file, that etc MoSMB domain list.txt, which is needed for kerberos authentication. So we'll create this file. In this file we add the entry of our domain. And we will start our MoSMB service. Similarly, we will create on the node 2 and start the MoSMB service. Just check the status. It is not in running condition, and we'll start it with sudo service MoSMB start command. Again, here we see that auth mode is kerberos and SSSD service is running, and MoSMB will be started. Go through the log files. Here we have got an error that failed to create new kerberos ticket, and then hence MoSMB server failed to start. So we'll check if we have a ticket with list-e command. As we can see, we don't have any ticket. We will create one with the kerberos our key tab which we had created. Init command. Klist-e gives us that we have a ticket cache type of file and at the location of OPT MoSMB ticket. Now I will restart the MoSMB service MoSMB restart command. Now we can see that MoSMB is in the running state on our node 1. Similarly, we check on our second server. This server is also missing the etc MoSMB domain list.txt file. Must have done some spelling mistake in earlier file creation. That file name is corrected. We'll just restart the MoSMB service. this machine comes up, we will log into our client node. Login with the same user for which we had set the ownership on the server side. For this demo, we have Windows 2 P12 client. As we know, we had configured our MoSMB nodes with the MoSMB underscore cluster configuration as our common name. So we'll be accessing the share with similar name from the client side. On our node 2, MoSMB server is running on node 2 as well. Here we can see that MoSMB HA share is populated. Quickly go through the properties and security settings. The security settings, we can see that PK test1 user has the permissions and the domain users has the permissions. I'll create a new folder in this. Permissions for this folder as per the logged in user PK test1 and the domain admins, which is the default group of this PK test1 user. On the server side, we can see that on our share path, we have this test directory in these. That's how we access the cluster share from the client side. Now if we want to see the failover, we'll just kill one of these. We'll first check which machine the client has connected to. To check that, we will ping cluster and we are getting a reply from 10.10.0.123 server node. So we will kill the MoSMB on this node. So you can see MoSMB is unkilled, and we'll quickly check the status service, and we can see that MoSMB service is not running anymore. And here if we refresh the share and create a new directory, say test2, we are connected to our second running node, which is 10.10.0.125. We have MoSMB service in running state. That's it for this demo. Thank you.